What is the best thing about One Punch Man? The animation? The epic punches? Sonic's quest for vengeance against Saitama? Just kidding, it's definitely not that last one. Nope, the best thing about One Punch Man is the humor. The show is jam-packed with hilarious jokes and laugh-out-loud moments that we just had to make a list to talk about them. Today's video is all about the most hilarious moments in One Punch Man, so let's get into it right now. If anything, the tragic story of the Brain and Brawn brothers is a cautionary tale about the dangers of steroids. Fubuki was a genius scientist who invented a steroid that turned his muscle-crazed brother Marugori into a gigantic mutated monster. Together the two terrorized B City, with Marugori casually creating craters and Fubuki gleefully riding on his shoulder shouting orders and commands. We don't know what's worse, having your city destroyed or starting off your morning with the sight of a huge naked monster. But just because he's bigger didn't mean Marugori's brain grew with him. When Saitama lands on his shoulder wondering who the heck is making all that racket, Fubuki orders Marugori to crush the person on his shoulder. Marugori must have mistaken his right from his left because, well, let's just say that his brother learned what it was like to be a fly swatted by a fly swatter. When most people dream, they have fantasies about winning the lottery, or diving into a gigantic pool of macaroni and cheese. Or is that just us? Anyway, Saitama's a bit different than most people in that he dreams of getting the ever-loving snot beaten out of him. In the very first episode, we're treated to One Punch Man's signature move, combining amazing animation with a hilarious punchline. As he sleeps, Saitama is ripped from his bed by the terrifying Subterraneans. An absolutely epic fight occurs with Saitama finally facing enemies that challenge him. Even the huge Subterranean King looks like he'll be more than a match for Saitama, but sadly that's not the case. It turns out that it was all a dream, and when the Subterraneans actually do show up, Saitama defeats the king instantly, causing the others to raise the white flag and retreat. Hopefully, one day you'll find someone to beat you up proper, Saitama. We really feel for Saitama here. There's nothing more annoying than a bug that refuses to be swatted. We've all been there. We're just minding our own business when a noisy bug starts buzzing around us. It avoids our initial swats and we start to get annoyed. We try harder, yet the elusive flying pest just keeps evading everything and somehow that buzzing gets even louder. Saitama experiences something similar as he tries to swat a mosquito that's annoying him. There's something inherently funny about the strongest being in the entire universe failing miserably to swat one tiny bug. It's even funnier when you compare that to poor Genos, who's close by taking on a massive mosquito creature that almost causes him to blow himself up out of desperation, only for Saitama to appear and slap the monster so hard she turns into an abstract mural on a nearby building. One of the funniest moments in One Punch Man happens when a group of artificial mutants show up looking for Genos. Their second-in-command, Armored Gorilla, speaks in a robot voice and is confident they'll never defeat their main fighter, Beast King. Immediately, we cut to Saitama holding the bloody remains of Beast King, and Armored Gorilla suddenly cracks. He starts whining and pleading for his life, saying he only spoke in a robot voice in an attempt to sound cool. The icing on this already hilarious cake comes when we see Armored Gorilla later running a takoyaki shop with his old master. We're glad that was a better fit for this cyborg monkey. Was he sent from a dying planet to our world? Was he bitten by a radioactive spider? Did he rip a magical lamp he found in a cave? Nope. Turns out Saitama just has a very strict exercise plan, and that's what caused him to become the strongest person in the entire known universe. The reveal to Saitama's amazing power is one of those laugh-out-loud moments in One Punch Man because it's just so unexpected, yet also totally makes sense for this show. 100 sit-ups, 100 push-ups, a 10-kilometer run, then 100 squats every single day. Also, make sure you don't use air conditioning in the summer or your heater in the winter to keep the mind focused, and be sure to eat 3 meals a day. Do this every day no matter what, and in a few years you'll have the strength of Saitama, but be warned, you might go bald as a result. When the neon glow stick Carnage Kabuto starts pummeling Saitama, the bald hero recognizes he made a very big mistake. Don't worry, it has nothing to do with a gigantic mutated wild berry Skittles-looking monster unleashing a flurry of devastating punches on him. Nope, Saitama couldn't care less about that. In fact, he barely notices that he's being thrown around the room like a rag doll. There are obviously more important things in life. What does bother Saitama is the fact that he mixed up his days and the big sale at his local market is going on today and not tomorrow. The anguish we hear in Saitama's voice as he realizes he's missing out on some sweet, sweet deals is perhaps the most emotional we've ever seen the hero. Throughout the show, Saitama hasn't shown much fear. Why would he? The dude's strong enough to probably jump all the way to Jupiter and back without breaking a sweat. But he's still human, and therefore has to be afraid of something. If his nightmares are any indication, it's a situation that we can all agree is super gross and uncomfortable. One scene has Saitama jerk awake while shouting about someone asking to play rock, paper, scissors with him. Except the challenger has a booger on his finger. Ugh! Oh, the horror! As much as we despise Speed-O-Sound Sonic for his silly one-sided vendetta against Saitama and his frustrating, confusing name, we can't blame the nimble ninja for wanting revenge against Saitama for what was done to him. Although Sonic tried his best to beat Saitama, nothing worked against our yellow jumpsuited hero. Sonic's go-to move of jumping around really quick just had no effect on the guy, which should have been his first warning sign that things weren't going well. Things took a disastrous turn when Sonic fell crotch first onto Saitama's fist, which presumably had the strength to render Sonic infertile and probably caused him to speak like he just inhaled 40 helium balloons or something. It's an incident that proves to constantly haunt Sonic no matter what, making Saitama out as some crotch-punching monster that must be stopped at all costs. We all knew those people in high school, the ones who rocked at all possible sports but couldn't read a Dr. Seuss book to save their lives. Well, that's basically Saitama when he goes through the tests to become a professional hero with the Hero Association. As expected, he completely dominates every physical challenge thrown at him in hilarious fashion. Weightlifting, side jumping, shot put, and vertical jump records all crumble and turn to dust under Saitama's immense power. It's insane. He's clearly on track to become recognized as the most powerful hero around, until that pesky written part of the exam. Although his stamina, endurance, and power all were unfathomable, his effectiveness was a measly 3, his justice level was a 1, his popularity was a 1, and his intelligence was also a 1. It unfortunately results in a low rank for our hero. Maybe he should have studied just a little bit. The universe is a funny thing. Take Combo Infinity for example, a villain covered with seaweed tentacles who makes their way to Z City looking for strong opponents to fight. After defeating 2 pretty powerful heroes, Combo's feeling pretty groovy. That is until he crosses paths with Saitama returning from the grocery store, and you can guess how that goes. Upon lunging at him, Saitama realizes he forgot to buy kombu soup stock while at the store. Cut to Saitama cooking kombu soup with Genos noting how much kombu there is outside of the apartment. Saitama lies, saying he got it for cheap, presumably because he doesn't want to tell Genos that they're about to eat soup made out of spare monster parts. In the manga, it's made clear that Combo Infinity survived their encounter, but the anime makes it look like Saitama killed a monster, cooked it, and ate it. Hardcore, dude. We need to be upfront about this. We're not heartless here at CBR, we just found it extremely hilarious watching Mumen Rider attempt to take on the Deep Sea King. It was a close fight. Mumen Rider did his signature Justice Crash, which probably tickled Deep Sea King slightly. When that didn't work, Mumen Rider tried brute force and was rewarded for his bravery by being slammed over and over again on the ground by the huge monster. This moment captures the brilliance of One Punch Man. It's funny at first watching a normal guy try to fight this terrifying titan with disastrous results, but as it goes on, it just gets harder and harder to watch. Stay down, Mumen Rider! Live to ride your bike another day! But seeing his sense of justice and determination turns this funny moment into a really emotional one. The sky isn't the only thing that's crying watching this. Imagine you were in a room with some of the world's most powerful people, be it celebrities, world leaders, or just general people that you'd like to impress. If you're worried about embarrassing yourself, just know that you can never have a worse first impression than Saitama when he meets all the S-Class heroes. He calls the number 4 hero Atomic Samurai middle-aged hero dude, and when the number 2 hero Tornado of Terror starts berating him for being there, he calls her a sassy lost child and walks away. Later at the meeting, he asks the supposed most powerful group of heroes in the world for some tea, and just generally doesn't seem to understand where he is or what he's doing. You know, it was worth a try. When the alien invaders attacked a city, Saitama quickly jumped on board and started punching everything in sight. When making his way through the ship, the second in command speaks over the intercom and tries to threaten a clearly lost Saitama to leave. But once Saitama reveals he can't leave because he doesn't know the way, the second in command nervously tells him the path to the exit. Saitama, of course, goes the opposite way, much to the tentacle monster's terror. He probably should have tried some reverse psychology on Saitama, but sadly, he'll never get that chance. It's the face that launched 1,000 memes. Saitama's famed, okay, face. But let's provide some context. Lord Boros just showed up with his alien armada, claiming to be the most powerful person in the universe. His ship destroyed a city in an instant, and the mighty Boros looks like the bad guy to end all bad guys. But one punch by Saitama sends Boros reeling. Boros looks defeated until he reveals that the punch Saitama delivered destroyed the armor he was wearing. Armor that he said was used to seal in his immeasurable, irresistible power. This is the sort of statement that should make any reasonable hero tremble in their boots and rush to the bathroom for a change of underwear. The supposed most powerful being in the universe just had his power-suppressing armor broken, and now he's super ticked off. But Saitama just gives an uninterested, okay, and that moment will live on forever in meme form. King, the S-Class rank 7 hero, looks terrifying. He's nicknamed the strongest man in the world and looks like the type of guy you see and go, yeah, I'm going to avoid all eye contact with this guy. When walking home, King scares off a reptilian monster who's too afraid to fight him, but then encounters a huge robot named G4, challenging him to a fight. King calmly asks for a minute to go to the bathroom so he can be at full strength. But then the truth comes out. King is a phony who's terrified of monsters and just has been in the right place at the right time to get all the credit. He's actually just a huge otaku who wants to sit at home and play video games. It's a gut-busting reveal as we quickly turn from fearing this dude to pitying him. Can't he just play his games in peace? Trying to get Saitama to do anything is like parallel parking correctly on the first try. It simply cannot be done. And eventually you're going to wind up frustrated, angry, and sweaty. That's basically what happened when the Fubuki, B-Class rank 1 hero, arrived at Saitama's apartment with her discount men in black to try and convince Saitama to join her faction by any means necessary. At first, she tries to persuade Saitama, saying it's better for him if he joins them as she can protect him. Her logic is a strong faction means nobody can mess with them, a notion Saitama immediately cuts down as he sees her faction for what it truly is. A hierarchy to stop heroes from moving up in rank. When niceties don't work, mainly because Saitama has a skull thicker than steel, she tries threats, which also have very little effect on the strongest being in the universe. How do you have a big bad of the season when you know your hero can easily beat them in one punch? Well, the answer is that you make it really clear from the start. From his first introduction, the human who wants to be a monster, Garou, has been hero hunting, constantly going after the strongest good guys to prove he's the best. Well, early on in Season 2, in the middle of his rampage, Garou accidentally crosses paths with Saitama. Of course, they don't know each other, as Saitama isn't popular enough for Garou to recognize, and Saitama sometimes has oatmeal where his brain should be. Anyway, a classic misunderstanding leads to Saitama thinking Garou is trying to rob him, and quickly karate chops him unconscious, and even loses his memory of what just happened. Saitama just continues on his merry old way after that, not knowing he just KO'd the season's biggest threat. Early in Season 2, we see Saitama impersonating a martial artist to illegally enter a martial arts tournament. He wants to learn what martial arts is all about, so he buys a really bad wig and attempts to pass himself off as the martial artist Charanko, who was too injured by Garou to enter the tournament. The ever-loyal Geno sees Saitama trying out the wig and immediately panics. He's worried about his master and quickly calls up the doctor to ask about artificial hair implants that can be given to Saitama, because he's clearly depressed about being bald. It's all sorts of funny because it's nice to see Geno so dedicated to making his master happy, while an annoyed Saitama is a hilarious Saitama. It's a classic case of mistaken identity. Saitama has successfully infiltrated the martial arts tournament under the guise of Charanko with his wig that looks like a cat coughed up a massive hairball. All is going smoothly until someone who knows Charanko tries interacting with Saitama, the martial artist known as Sourface, named for his kind, nice, and friendly face, just kidding, approaches Saitama and starts chatting him up. Saitama hides his face and stays silent, which Sourface interprets as nervousness and cowardice. And the great thing about this scene is that Sourface just keeps talking, even though it's clear Saitama is hiding his face from Sourface. It's funny because it's so relatable. How many times have you been stuck in conversation with someone you don't want to be talking to, and no matter what you do, that person just doesn't seem to take a hint? We feel for you, Saitama. This dude is the number 12 ranked S-Class hero, and he dresses in a full dog suit. He always looks uninterested and bored. He eats and acts like a dog and protects his territory in Q City, often seen sitting on his special perch. This isn't even us trying to be funny, this is just us describing Watchdog Man, who's just an overall absurd hero even for this show. But the funny thing is that he's actually extremely powerful. He'll rip apart monsters and bad guys like wrapping paper on Christmas Day. Well, that's our list of the funniest moments in One Punch Man. Do you agree with our picks? What are some other moments in the show that made you laugh? Be sure to tell us in the comments below, and don't forget to subscribe to CBR for more awesome anime content. As always, thanks for watching.